Okay. Good morning. Welcome to another week. I'm gonna be super honest and transparent in this coffee date. I have a lot going on, and I was gonna be finishing up our month chat on business scriptures. I ain't doing that today. So if y'all got a little time for some real girl time, let's do it. Okay, so full disclaimer, I had an amazing weekend. This past Saturday was the inaugural Level Up Virtual Business Summit, and it was incredible. It was absolutely positively incredible. Loved it. The presenters were on point. The participants were all in. It was bomb. I cannot wait for our next one. And so if you missed it, you missed a treat. But we may do a replay. We may do a replay, and if we don't, make sure that you catch the tickets for the next one. So really great Saturday. But let me be real clear. That ain't what we're talking about today. We're talking about the reality of life, right? And some days are really good, and sometimes you have really amazing groups of days, weeks, months. But then there's also times where life is crappy. Life is crappy. And it's not because you're a horrible person. It's not because you screw things up. It's not because you're not deserving of good days. It's just a part of life, right? But we have to begin to shift our perspective. And I'm talking to me more than I'm talking to you right now. And I realized that a lot of this, the overwhelm and the anxiety that I'm feeling right now, like as I'm talking, comes from a lack of balance. And actually one of my friends and I had literally just talked about this a few days ago. But the lack of balance can add to the stress or the anxiety or the overwhelm. And so it's really important for you to take stock of where you are, right? So like right now, I literally am counting the days until Jack is done with school so that he can rest and recalibrate, rejuvenate, all those things, because he is becoming more overwhelmed and more anxious, which means my household is becoming more overwhelmed and more anxious. He's tired, he's stressed out, he's done, he needs a break. And then there's also that kind of feeds into what's happening in our home, right? So we're feeding off of what's going on. And I've told you guys this before, Jack and I are a lot alike. So when we become overwhelmed or anxious, it really begins to seep into other things. And he and I find it difficult sometimes to balance. And so today, what I wanted to talk about is just that. Shifting our perspective and getting to the balance between work, life, ministry, relationships, whatever you need balance in. That's what we're going to talk about today. And so I wanted to do Ecclesiastes 3 and 1. And a lot of times you'll hear this scripture at funerals, which by the way I don't go to at all. But when I did, this was the scripture that I would hear a lot. And it said, Ecclesiastes 3 and 1, and it says, "There is an occasion for everything and a time for every activity under heaven." And it goes on, say a time to give birth, a time to die, all that stuff, right? All the next verses. But I really want us to focus on verse 1. There is an occasion for everything and a time for every activity under heaven. And so a lot of times we hear that and we think, okay, then that means there's a time for happiness, there's a time for sadness, there's a time to live, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to work, a time to rest, all of those things. It's the last one I want us to focus on. It's literally the last one that I want, a time to work and a time to rest, a time to balance life. There is an occasion for everything and a time for every activity under heaven. There is no reason for us to feel like we have to cramp everything into one moment at all. There is enough time to get things done, even if you're not getting it done in one day. There is time, because everything has been set aside that way, right? God has structured the way that we were created and the way that our purpose is to be fulfilled over a period of time. It doesn't happen in one instant. It can't, because we are continuously evolving and growing, and during that evolution, the purpose is being fulfilled. It's during. It's not when it's complete, because it's not complete until we get to heaven. It's not complete, right? So it's during the process. And so saying that there's an occasion for everything and a time for every activity under heaven, it really reminds me that a lot of the things that I'm stressing about and I feel like I haven't accomplished or I haven't done, there's time for that. There's time for that. And I just have to learn how to prioritize my time and my energy, and I have to evaluate my capacity in truth. In truth, I can't do it in this vacuum of perfectionism. I can't do it in this vacuum of comparison. I can't do it in this vacuum of pride. It's pride that says I can get it all done, and if I don't get it done, then everything is going to fall apart. That's pride. The reality is that earth was not created by us. Heaven was not created by us. Healing does not come from us. Right? It comes from God. And so to say that things will fall apart if I don't do everything on my to-do list or everything that I want to do or accomplish, that's pride. That's pride. And so we have to begin to evaluate those things, because it affects the balance that we need to thrive. A lot of times we're surviving, we're floating, we're making it happen, but we're not thriving. Thriving is literally, we realize that we have to be nurtured. And to be nurtured requires intentionality. And with that intentionality, we're actually growing. We're not just surviving and not dying, we're growing. That's thriving. It's the growth, it's the evolution, it is the transcendence. There's a difference. And to have that, you have to have balance, because you can't pour all the water onto yourself in one day. You'll drown. And you cannot withhold all the water because you're so busy, you'll burn up. And you cannot forget to prune or you will get choked out. There's balance. There's literal balance that you have to take into consideration. And so when you feel yourself getting anxious or overwhelmed, you have to remember something's out of whack. I'm putting too much attention in this area, or not enough attention in this area, or I'm putting too much attention over here. And now how do I get back to that place of balance? How do I do that? And it's really important that you begin to think of this in terms of actual tangible things to do, because a lot of times we'll have conversations with our girls and we'll be talking about just the spiritual, or we'll be talking about just the physical, or we'll be talking about just the work. When we're talking about balance, you have to do all three. You have to incorporate all of it, because you are mind, body, and spirit. There's more to you than just this outward body. There's more to you than just your spirit woman. There's more to you than just your emotions. There's a lot happening. And so you have to constantly put all of them in play to keep it in balance, because you cannot pull your flesh under subjection if your spirit woman is decimated. You can't do it. You can't do it. And you can't properly evaluate your emotions if your flesh is paying attention to what's happening outside, right? So there has to be this balance, and you have to take that into consideration. So there are some tips that I wrote these down, and I wanted to share them with you. So and it's 5 of them, so it's really quick, really simple, but I thought it was really important, because when I tell y'all I'm super overwhelmed, and it's crazy because I literally just had an amazing weekend, but there's just a lot happening, and I realized how important it is to be honest about where I am, and when I'm honest with myself, I can show up the best way possible, and that's authentically. So the first thing is to feed your body and soul. first things first, you have to eat. You have to eat. So when you're talking about your breakfast, don't eat trash. And if you don't eat breakfast, don't eat trash for lunch. Feed your body good things so that it can run well. It can run well. But not just the physical body do you need to be feeding. You need to be feeding your soul. So in the mornings, do a little bit of word, y'all. Do some worship. Do prayer. Feed your soul just as intentionally as you feed your body. I literally was in one of my group chats and I was like, y'all, I got a U. I ain't got no V. There's no V down there. It is a U. I am round right now. And that means that I need to start eating better. I need to start taking better care of my temple. And to do that, it's not just eating good. It's not just pulling out the carbs and the sugar and all that other stuff. It's also taking time to think and to process what I'm putting into my body. And it's not just food, it's also the word, it's also the connections, it's the relationships that I have. You have to feed your body and your soul when you're talking about balance, because you need your body to run well. You need your body to run well so that your mind and your spirit is not consumed with trying to lift a burden it cannot handle. Right? You do better when your body is doing better, and your body does better when you are spiritually intact. They go together. You have to have that type of balance. That also means that number 2, you need to exercise your body and your spirit, right? So we got to get moving. So we have been in this whole pandemic, whatever you want to call it, and it's been rough. And a lot of us have gotten to this place of complacency and not really moving and being stuck inside. Well, the outdoors are open. And while I'm not telling you to go sit and chill with everybody and breathe in people's faces, I am saying maybe you should go outside, enjoy some of the sunlight, get moving, put your body in action. And then while you're doing that, start reciting some scripture. Start exercising your spirit. Start getting that word into you. And then, I think that, maybe you could also add a little worship to that. So you're learning worship songs, you're learning scriptures, you're changing the way you're talking to people. Begin to exercise your body and your spirit. And you can do that for like 20 minutes, 15 minutes if you don't have 20, right? But just do it. Get moving. Get moving. Number 3, and this one's like the biggest one for me. Spend 20 minutes on your chores, your household chores. Don't do these 3-hour stints. That is overwhelming, and it will make you anxious because you feel like you're literally drowning in the filth of your own home. Don't do it. If you begin to incorporate doing about 20 minutes of your chores daily, you no longer have to do these 3 to 4 hour stints of cleaning your household on the weekends, which takes away from your free time with your family or even just yourself if you're single. It really begins to put into action that you're keeping your space clean, which means that you're also decluttering your mind. Because if you're like me, when I come in my house and my house is a wreck, I'm anxious. I'm like, oh my God, I can't think. And because I can't think, I can't do. And because I can't do, I can't produce. I can't produce. And then I'm off balance. Because then I'm thinking about, oh my God, I was supposed to get this done. I was supposed to get this done. I was supposed to get this done. And then I'll spend my weekends like 3 hours, 4 hours cleaning up a house, and I'm miserable because I'm missing out on time with my babies or my husband. I'm missing out on time of just some self-care and quietness because I'm trying to clean up a week's worth of stuff. And now I'll be honest, my house can be a mess because we're always moving, always doing. But when you incorporate these 15 to 20 minutes of cleaning, it becomes easier. So again, this is more for me than it is for you. I'm asking you guys to hold me accountable and doing these 20 minutes of cleaning and just picking up things. So one, you are doing so that you are producing, but that means that you're also remembering that you're not going to overwhelm yourself at the end of the week, which means you'll overwhelm your mind and then you're not balanced. Okay? So remember, there's a time for everything, every activity. You just have to prioritize and make it happen. One of my favorite ones that I wrote down. Say no. Say no to being busy. Being busy does not equal being productive. Being intentional equals being productive. Being consistent equals being productive. Being committed equals being productive. Being busy does not always equal being productive. If there's something on your list that you are finding it very difficult to do now, or it gives you more anxiety than it does exhilaration, you need to take it off your list. It's no longer something that should be prioritized. Like, for example, I had an activity that I was doing very, very consistently, actually, and I loved it at first. It was great, but then it got to a place where I was super anxious. I was falling behind on other things, and I felt depressed every time I had to go do this. And I'll actually tell you what it is. It was actually working out, and so I'm not contradicting what was that, number 2, the exercise. I'm actually saying when I was actually going to the gym like 4 times a week, I loved it at first because I was seeing the results. I was having quiet time. It was really, really great. But I realized after a couple of months of it that I didn't enjoy it anymore because I had to go at night. So I was missing bedtime with the babies. I was missing homework time with them. They were getting upset because, like, mommy, you're gone 4 times a week. And remember, they're in school the majority of the day, so they only have a couple hours after school. And then I was leaving at like 6:30, or I would pick them up from school, drop them off at home by 4:30, and then I would head to the gym. So they didn't see me, and I was like, this isn't good. This is not working. And so I had to prioritize. You need to eat better and work out at home. Like, that's what you need to do. Excuse me. Excuse me. So that's the thing. So if there's something that, you know, you feel like, oh, I'm busy, I'm filling up my calendar, I'm doing all these things, but I'm not being productive. Sure, I'm trimming a few inches, but I'm not being productive in the space of maintaining my home life. I'm not being productive in being mama or wife. I'm not doing those things. And so you have to really prioritize the things that you are able to actually fulfill with peace. The things that you're able to fulfill with peace. Okay, and now there are going to be times that there's some ebbs and flows, of course. Sometimes you're going to love it and sometimes you're not. But those things that genuinely make you anxious all the time, take that off your list. And then the last thing is probably the easiest and hardest thing all at once. Take a day off every week. To find balance, you also have to find quiet. And if you're always doing, you're always on, you're never going to have the balance you need. You're never going to have the balance you need because you're going to be constantly filling your time instead of remembering that there is an occasion for everything and a time for every activity, which means that it's literally set aside. You don't have to crunch it into all of your time. Take a day off. Enjoy life. Enjoy the sun. Enjoy your people. Enjoy the peace. Take a day off. Take a day off. The Lord rested. Why can't you? Why can't I? Take a day off. I feel so much better after talking to you. I feel like I can go home now. I can be present. I can be my normal happy self. Oh my gosh. Y'all, you didn't tell. I was so ready to talk to y'all and spend some time. I totally forgot to tell y'all what I'm drinking today. Okay, so I'm back at Scooters. I actually secretly love them. You know, I really do. So I'm back at Scooters, and one of my favorite things to get from them is the Red Bull infusion. So they take the tropical Red Bull, and they take like a lemonade, I think, and put it in, and then you could add like a flavored syrup. And so this one has the raspberry syrup. The pear syrup is really good too. But today I got the raspberry, and it's really, really good. If you love Red Bull like I do, it's bomb. And it's a full can. It's a full can of Red Bull. They give you the lemonade, they give you the syrup, ice. It's really, really good. So definitely try this. I mean, it's summertime as far as I'm concerned. That's why I have summer lips, summer drinks. It's a good mix. So definitely try it out. It's amazing. I'm sorry that I didn't tell y'all when we first started. I really just needed to spend some time with y'all. I really just needed to let my heart out, and to really hold myself accountable. Yeah, I had some tough conversations this weekend too that have really called me on the carpet, because there's some things that I've been saying I want to do, but I haven't prioritized them. I haven't found the balance, and I haven't found the courage to really tell myself that I deserve this space to grow, and that I deserve this space to transition and evolve into these different areas, because I do. I absolutely do. But I have to find the balance between what I'm doing and where I'm going. I have to find the balance between what I'm doing and where I'm going. I think that you probably do too. So this week, focus on Ecclesiastes 3:1. Make sure that you're looking for ways actively to balance. It's gonna make a difference. I hope that you've enjoyed spending some time with me. I know that today is a little bit longer, but I did warn you that I needed some real girl time today. So I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you'll be back. Oh, wait, pause on the plate. I won't be here next week because next week is a holiday and we're talking about balance, right? So I'm gonna be spending time with my family. I am not gonna be on the holiday Monday. I'm not gonna do it. I was gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. So this is the last one for the month. This is the last one for the month. I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for you. Make sure you like, subscribe, share this with someone who needs to find balance, and save it for yourself when you forget that you deserve the space to grow and evolve. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Make it a great week, pretty. Bye.